The year is 2025. The world has changed in ways we could only dream of a decade ago. The world has flying cars, robot butlers, and homes that practically run themselves. Technology has advanced at a breakneck pace, making life more convenient and interconnected than ever before. But not everything is rosy. The global economy is still reeling from a trade war hangover that just won't quit. The economic downturn has left many industries struggling to find their footing. Remember Trump? Hair still gravity-defying? His influence lingers, especially through his trade policies that continue to shape international relations. Well, his trade policies are still impacting things, especially between the United States and Mexico. The handshake deals and trade agreements have left a lasting impact on both nations. It all started with tariffs, basically taxes on imported goods. These tariffs were meant to protect American industries but ended up causing more harm than good. Trump slapped them on everything from steel to washing machines, claiming it would protect American jobs. The reality, however, was far more complex. Turns out, economics are more complicated than a tweet storm. The ripple effects of these tariffs were felt across various sectors, leading to unintended consequences. One of the hardest-hit industries? Automaking. The automotive sector, which relies heavily on a global supply chain, found itself in a precarious position. See, cars these days are more global than a K-pop sensation. Components are sourced from all over the world, making the industry a true testament to globalization. Parts get made all over, shipped to be assembled, then sold elsewhere. This intricate dance of logistics keeps the industry running smoothly. Tariffs threw a wrench into this well-oiled machine, and both the United States and Mexico felt the crunch. The disruption in the supply chain led to delays, increased costs, and a lot of uncertainty for manufacturers and consumers alike. As we navigate this new landscape, it's clear that the decisions made in the past continue to shape our present and future. The opening salvo of the trade war has left a mark that will be felt for years to come. Trump's goal was to bring manufacturing back to the United States. Make America great again, remember? But slapping tariffs on steel and aluminum, key ingredients in car making, actually made it more expensive to build cars in America. Sure, some jobs came back, but at a cost. Companies like GM and Ford had to raise prices, making their cars less competitive. Meanwhile, smaller businesses that relied on imported parts got squeezed. The result? A mixed bag. Some jobs gained, some lost, consumers paid more, and the trade war raged on. So much for easy to win, eh? Now let's talk about Mexico. They're the United States' biggest trading partner, and the auto industry is a big part of that. When the tariffs hit, Mexico didn't just roll over, they retaliated with their own tariffs on United States goods, from pork to bourbon. Ouch. Mexican officials argued that Trump's policies violated trade agreements and hurt everyone in the long run. And they had a point. The tariffs disrupted supply chains, forcing companies to scramble for new suppliers and navigate a maze of red tape. It was a mess. The economic engine sputters. So, how did all this tariff-happy fun time impact the economies of the United States and Mexico? Well, in a word, not great. The US economy, which was humming along nicely before the trade war, started to slow down. Growth dipped, manufacturing activity fell, and consumer confidence took a nosedive. Turns out people don't like paying more for stuff. Mexico felt the pain too. Their economy, heavily reliant on exports to the US, also took a hit. Growth slowed, jobs were lost, and the peso took a tumble. A Mexican standoff. The trade war created a tense standoff between the United States and Mexico. Negotiations dragged on, with threats and counter-threats flying back and forth like piñatas at a Cinco de Mayo party gone wrong. Mexico argued that the tariffs were unfair and harmful, while the US demanded concessions on issues like immigration and drug trafficking. It was a classic case of two sides digging in their heels, unwilling to budge. The stalemate had real consequences for businesses and workers on both sides of the border. Uncertainty reigned supreme, making it difficult to plan for the future. The road ahead bumpy or bust? So, what does the future hold for the US-Mexico trade relationship? This question has been on the minds of policymakers, economists, and business leaders on both sides of the border. The stakes are high, and the path forward is anything but clear. Well, buckle up because it's still a bumpy ride. The journey has been fraught with challenges, from tariff disputes to political disagreements. Each twist and turn has left both nations grappling with uncertainty. Some experts believe that the two countries will eventually reach a new trade agreement, one that addresses the concerns of both sides. They argue that the economic interdependence between the US and Mexico is too significant to ignore. Such an agreement would not only stabilize the current situation, but also pave the way for future cooperation. It would involve compromises and concessions, but the potential benefits could outweigh the costs. They point to the deep economic ties between the two countries and the mutual benefits of free trade. The US and Mexico have a long history of economic collaboration, with industries on both sides benefiting from the flow of goods and services. However, others are less optimistic. They argue that the damage has been done, and that the trust between the two countries has been eroded. The recent trade tensions have left scars that may take years to heal. They argue that the damage has been done, and that the trust between the two countries has been eroded. The recent trade tensions have left scars that may take years to heal. The protests and public outcry against trade policies have only added fuel to the fire. The erosion of trust is a significant barrier to any future agreements. Without mutual confidence, negotiations become more challenging, and the likelihood of reaching a consensus diminishes. They predict a future of continued tensions, tit-for-tat tariffs, and economic uncertainty. The road ahead is uncertain, and the stakes are high. Both nations must navigate this complex landscape with caution and foresight, as the decisions made today will shape the future of their economic relationship. Buckle up, the trade war ain't over. The trade tensions between the United States and Mexico have been a roller coaster ride, filled with unexpected twists and turns. From tariffs on goods to renegotiations of trade agreements, the stakes have never been higher. One thing's for sure, the trade war, like a telenovela, ain't over till it's over. Just when you think the story has reached its climax, another plot twist emerges. Trade negotiations can be as dramatic as any soap opera, with high-stakes meetings and intense protests. And even then, there's probably going to be a surprise twin and a long-lost inheritance thrown in for good measure. The unpredictability of these events keeps everyone on their toes, from policymakers to everyday citizens. The decisions made by leaders in Washington and Mexico City will have a profound impact on the lives of millions of people. These decisions affect not just the economy, but also the livelihoods of workers in factories, the prices of goods on store shelves, and the overall relationship between two neighboring countries. Will they choose cooperation and shared prosperity, or will they continue down the path of confrontation and economic harm? Only time will tell. The choices made in these high-level meetings could either pave the way for a new era of collaboration, or deepen the divide, leading to further economic instability. But one thing's for certain, we'll be keeping a close eye on this story because it's one that affects us all. The outcome of this trade war will ripple through our economies, our communities, and our daily lives. Stay tuned, because this is a story that is far from over.